Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 10th of November, 2014. How are you? You're doing good, I hope. We got a problem in America, folks, and this problem is real simple. Not enough of you are getting out in the streets. And we have to peacefully protest. We have to peacefully protest what is happening in our country today. I'm not talking about changing, the system to compromise for the benefit of... No. There is no compromise. Now, I know a lot of people might say, well, they're doing the best they can. There's politicians who are being suppressed by the people above them and all. Yeah, I understand that. It's like any other business. You got the lowly workers that you just hired a month ago that are being suppressed by the bosses and their supervisors saying you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, let me tell you something. Screw that. If you've got a better idea than the boss, you better take it up with him. And guess what? If he doesn't take it into consideration, do it anyway. And if he doesn't like it, hey, who's it going to benefit? You or him? Or the company? To keep the paycheck going? Huh? You think about that one for a minute. Just let's take it down to a macro level. Let's take it down to real life. You have a business. You own a business. You have 12 employees. I say 12. It could be 20. It could be 50. It could be 100. Doesn't matter. I want to keep it simple. You got 12 employees. Okay? And one of those employees you just hired a month ago. And he's got better ideas, and he brings them to you, and he says, hey, look, I've got this idea and this, and he's got all these skills that he or she hadn't put on his resume or in his application, but he's got all these ideas, and he tells you where he got them, and he or she worked on them by them, he's got these ideas, he or she, whoever it may be. And he brings them to you. What are you going to do? If you can see a potential to make more money, wouldn't you do it? Okay, let's take this into the United States then. Let's take this on the level of the citizens of the United States. We got a system that is totally screwed, broken, trashed, ripped apart, torn up. We had the best healthcare system in the world. Why do you think doctors from Canada and Mexico and other countries would come here to work? Because it was the best system in the world. We get this jackass in office and he screws everything up. And now he's going after the internet. Oh yeah, he's urging FCC to take action, and he gives them the ideas, and then he tells Congress, he gives the big middle finger to Congress and says, hey, I'm going to do this anyway. Screw you. I'm signing an executive order to change the internet to make it a public utility. Guess what, folks? Bye-bye freedom. That's like reading Tom Sawyer from Mark Twain and getting into the first chapter, and then all of a sudden you get to the second chapter and you find these big black lines that are across certain sentences, or maybe whole pages that are just totally blacked out, with black marker or whatever, or just, pages ripped out of the book or whatever. Folks, you either get your ass up and do what you have to do to take this country back, or you might as well start speaking Spanish or Chinese. Nothing wrong with those languages. I'm just saying, the United Nations has troops all over the United States. Don't tell me they don't. Well, where are they? Show me where they're at. Really? You really have to go there. You really have to keep your eyes shut and say, oh, nothing's happening, this won't happen. Here's the biggest excuse that people give. Well, if it's not on my local news, or if it's not on my local's national section of the news, I don't believe it. Folks, your local news and your cable news and all of that are owned by 6 major corporations in the country, in the world as well. And they will dictate to you what they want you to know, not what you want to know, what they want you to know. A Saudi prince has a majority stock in Fox News. Do you understand me? Okay? I know I should have taken a break a minute ago, but this is too important. You have to stand up. You have to take matters into your own hands. And if you don't, then you're nothing but a freaking coward. I don't care if you've spent 25 years in the freaking Marines. You are a freaking coward. I had somebody tell me many years ago that there's nothing I can tell you. Really? I'm open, tell me. So they told me. And you know what? Oh, they gave me both barrels. They said that I don't like listening to anybody that has any opposing views. I looked at them, I went, that's a lie right there. They told me that I don't like the fact that people have better information than I have. I went, that's another lie. And then they told me that I'm so hard-headed that I don't learn anything, or I don't want to learn anything. I looked at them and went, well, that's another lie. Strike 3, Junior, you're out. They explained to me how other people look at me and how they look at me, and guess what? They're no longer in my lives. In my life. Do you know why? Because I proved to them that they were absolutely and positively and utterly wrong about everything they thought of me. In other words, their preconceived ideas were wrong. Their little cookie-cutter world, filled with their preconceived ideas that they deluded themselves with, was totally and absolutely bogus. And I dovetail that into what's happening right now in our country. What is coming out of Washington, D.C. is bogus. What is coming out of Washington, D.C. is a bunch of fat lies. Period. What is coming out of Washington, D.C. and the manipulation they have upon people is pretty damn evident, but most people don't see it. I do. I've studied psychology and human behavior, and guess what? Every single politician is being manipulated from a higher position, from a group or a person with, in an organization that's higher than Washington, D.C. Every media outlet in the mainstream, and I use air quotes around that, is manipulated to only tell you what they want you to know, not what you want to know. They feed you information. They front load you with information, causing you to do what? Behave in such a manner that they've designed. And therefore, they will do everything they can to preempt your strike against them. They have already done that. They have NATO troops all through the United States. Don't tell me they don't. I bet, I'm not a betting man, even though I live in the biggest little city in the world. But I can almost guarantee that if you, in your particular city, can go around into the, let's just say, the countryside outside of that city and start searching, you will find little nondescript areas or huge swaths of land that you never knew was there. And who knows? You may come across battalions of NATO troops just waiting for their word. But then again, they're even smarter than that. They may, at some point, have figured out that we are not that stupid and that we would go out and look for this stuff. So where would they put them? They would hide them. Where would they hide them? Underground bunkers. And don't tell me they don't have them. If you go to any major highway, such as here it's 395 or I-80 or any number of major freeways, and you start going out 3, 4, 5 miles, or maybe even closer because they have to have quick access, then you start figuring it out. Have you seen things off of your, driving down the freeway? Have you looked around and went, wow, that looks new? Or that looks strange. I've never seen that before. Yeah, it's something to check out, people. I've been doing it for years. And believe me, there are things that would put chills up your back. All right? I'm not giving you any specific information. I'm just saying it would benefit you greatly to do your own research into all of this. It's important enough to do it because the United States of America is your home. And hey, I'm pretty sure you don't want somebody coming and kicking down your door and walking in and grabbing your food or grabbing your, remote or sitting in your chair or grabbing your car keys and taking off for a ride or anything. Do you? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. In a way. From a certain point of view. So you think about that for a minute. Just think about that for a minute. And let me go back to the net neutrality thing. If President Obama really is going to sign an executive order turning the whole internet, which is private and open, which is, in our hands, if he's going to turn that over to the Public Utilities Commission, you might as well just kiss the freaking internet goodbye. Talk about Internet 2, Web 2.0. Right here in Reno, Nevada, down by the university, they have a building. It's huge. And they have servers in there that are not turned on yet. And that is Internet 2. That is Web 2.0. That is the new Internet. Guess what? You and I are not going to be able to get on it and do things like this or search the Internet without what? A license. Why do you think he wants to turn it over to the Public Utilities Commission? Because of the fact that they are trying to gain more money out of you. That's all. Why do you think the police pull you over because, you made a wrong turn or you crossed the line just a little bit, and then they give you a ticket for $100? Revenue generation. Mullen Lobby, you're not taking it from me, and I'm not giving it up. Now, some of the analysts that I hear and listen to say that it's eventually going to happen, that eventually everything will be under the operation of the federal government. Everything, your food, your utilities, everything, your car, everything. You're not going to be able to do anything without their permission. Well, guess what? Here, let me crunch some numbers for you. There's 535 people in the nation's capital in Congress. 535 of them. Okay? Washington, D.C., in that little 10 square mile area that they own and operate, is not even part of the United States, and that is the only land they are legally, constitutionally able to own, period. End of sentence. And guess what? There's over 300 million people in the United States. I really don't think, and I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think 10,000 people would ever make their way to Washington, D.C. to protest what's going on. I really don't think 10,000 people will do that, because I think those 10,000 people are nothing but big fat-ass cowards. Okay? I live clear out here in Nevada. You know what's happening in Nevada? They want to take over the government through Harry Reid and his associates, his criminal associates, want to take over 3 million, or what is it, I don't know how many millions of acres of land in southern Nevada. And guess who's sitting in southern Nevada? The Lone Rancher himself, Cliven Bundy, because the government is all pissed off at him that they're going to take everything away from him. Well, the militia and a lot of other people went down there and protected him, and it's about time we do the same. I'm 8 hours away, eight and a half, 9 hours away. Now, let me give you some other numbers. Let me reiterate, there's 535 congressmen and women. There's over 300 million people in the United States as a population. 200, well, let's minus the teenagers and let's minus the toddlers and the kids. So you got over 200 million people that are able-bodied. But let me throw you this number. There's almost 100 million people that are unemployed. I speak directly to the hearts and minds of those 95 or whatever million people that are unemployed. You want America back? You want a job? Your job now is to protect the United States. 100 million people. Now, I'm not saying take up arms. I'm saying defend the nation. And the people in each state who are sitting there going, well, I don't want to get involved, and I don't think that it's right that... Shut your damn cake hole. Go back to your little tiny apartment. Grab your family and sit in your living room and watch your stupid reality shows. Close your curtains because you really don't want to see what's going to go on outside. You really don't. Close your doors and lock them because you really don't want to go outside. Because it's going to be people like me and people who are true patriots that are going to be outside taking care of your neighborhood. And if you're one of those people that are scared of guns and we shouldn't have a Second Amendment, well, you know what? You just go ahead and hide in your basement. You just go ahead and hide in your basement, close it off, do whatever it is you got to do, because you're nothing but a wimpy, whiny-ass, little pansy-ass bitch. And you ain't got nothing that this country wants. So when it's all over, why don't you do you and your family a favor and pack it up and leave and go someplace else that suits you more, such as China or Russia? Because I guarantee you, if people don't start taking matters into their own hands and protesting and do what they can to defend this country, we're going to wind up looking just like them. Do you really want that? Yeah, I said get the hell out of the country if you don't like it. Oh, and by the way, take the Muslims with you. The radical jihadist Muslims that want Sharia law in this country. Hey, you know, I know this is a country full of people. This is a melting pot. This is, you know, everybody comes here for freedom and liberty and all this and all that. You know what? They're lied to. And so are you. Why are you so down today? Why? Geez, you must have got up on the wrong side of the bed. No. I didn't. I woke up with a new heart. I woke up with a shining spirit. I woke up with a clear mind, realizing that there are scared little children that call themselves Americans who don't want to defend this country. Oh, don't worry about it there, jackass. I'll stand there and protect you, because you're a wimpy, whiny-ass little biatch. That's what you are. Oh, don't worry about it. Me and my friends will protect you in your house, because you're too damn scared to come out. Yeah, I said it. What are you going to do? You got something to tell me, you can email me anytime you want. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Call this a rant, if you will. I'm not going to promote anything. I'm not going to do anything. I got a few minutes left. But I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now that if there were those out there listening to my voice that are all pissed off that I'm saying what I'm saying, well, there's stronger people out there, and they're not wimpy little people, and we got courage. You know, if I hear a lot of that and see nothing coming out of you, like your feet moving to protect this country, you ain't squat. You don't have the balls to stand up to Goliath. Remember that story about David and Goliath? Trust me, I went to church. I read the Bible front and back. New Testament twice, Old Testament once, and then read it again up to 2 Kings. I know the story of David and Goliath. I know the story of how that whole Bible was put together, too, and found archaeological evidence to prove it. And guess what? The story is a motivator. Okay? The little guy can make it. The little guy can push beyond the big giant standing out in front of him. You just got to get him in the right place and knock his ass out. But I don't see too many Davids out there. I see a bunch of Goliaths, but I don't see a whole lot of Davids out there. I don't see a whole lot of people who would do what they can to protect their families. I don't see a whole lot of people out there, and I'm talking millions of people. I know there's patches of maybe hundreds of people, maybe thousands in some locations. Yeah. Okay, big high five to you folks, but I'm talking millions of people. Okay? Millions. Okay? I don't see a whole lot of people out there that want to stand up and defend this country. I don't see a whole lot of people out there that want to get a backbone and get up in the politician's face and start taking them to court. Yes, you can file your own thing in court. Go talk to your court clerk and ask how you can file a lawsuit or some type of grievance against your politicians. By the way, it's in the First Amendment. Go look at it. I don't see too many people who are willing to stand in front of the governor's office or the governor's mansion of their state or the Capitol building of their state. I challenge. This challenge is serious, and I want to see video and I want to see pictures. Send it. freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's freeamericaradio@usa.com. I want to see you people out, hundreds, maybe thousands around your state capitol, around your governor's mansion, around your city halls. I want to see this because I want to see the patriots that want this country, that want the United States, that want the freedom, that want free internet, that want all of the stuff that makes us what we are. This country was built on the backs of the entrepreneurs, excluding slavery, because that was wrong. But it was built, the big cities, New York, all of that were built on the backs of the entrepreneurs. Let's have that spirit again. Let's put it out there. Let's smack Goliath right in the middle of the head and tell him, we've had enough of your crap. You're going down. We have to do what we have to do to stand up to take this country back. And we have to do it today, the 10th of November, 2014. We have to do it this weekend. We have to go out and do what we have to do. Now, don't sit there, and I don't want to hear any more excuses from people who just absolutely don't have a brain in their head to figure this out with, okay? I don't want to hear the excuse, well, geez, why don't you go out and then we'll see, and if you get arrested, no. Trust me, I'm out on the streets of Reno, Nevada, looking at these people. I watch these people. I watch the homeless. I see what they do. I talk to some of them. Not a whole lot, but I do talk to them. And I get the feel of what's out there. But guess what? I walk downtown, around the casinos, around Virginia Street here, and guess what? I get the feel of what's happening down there. I go to other locations. I get the feel of what's happening down there. Two things happened in the last several days. We had a shooting, a father and two kids dead. We had another shooting last night. And you know what? I'm sick and tired of it. We live in an open carry state. Why don't we? If you live in an open carry state, do it. Well, the sheriff and all that and the police and the people get all freaked out if you see a gun. Do it. And if they say, do you have a license for that weapon? You tell them, I got the Second Amendment. What do you have? There's nothing they can do legally. I was told that by one of the officers here in town. Legally, they cannot do a thing. But if they want to, and if they don't throw your butt in jail or worse, I would even consider talking to an attorney, a constitutional attorney, like the ACLJ, or better yet, the Rutherford Institute. You have to have a backbone is the whole point of my rant today. You have to have a backbone. And if you ain't got one, you might as well just pack your crap and leave the freaking country because you're not worth being called an American. Now, there are people here that willingly leave the country because they know that crap is happening and they don't want to, fall prey to that. I've heard of several people leaving the country already because it's falling apart. But they willingly left for one reason: to survive. But there are other people like myself and others who are going to dig their heels in until they cannot stand anymore. But we're going to definitely make sure that this United States of America is back in the hands of the people. And we're going to make sure that every single politician that is in Washington, D.C. is arrested and thrown in prison for treason against the Constitution of the United States and the American people. And if that is not an order to call to arms, I don't know what is. How many people in history you've looked back and you've seen the War of Independence, 1776, the Civil War in 1861, all these other ones that we've had. How many people do you think sat there in their homes thinking, well, maybe I'll just keep farming. I don't want to get involved in that war because that's not my place to be, and I don't want to be there. I got a family to take care of and all that. How many people do you think sat in their house doing that when they got word that there was something happening and it could cost them their ranch, their livelihood, their families, their cities, their freedoms? No, I don't think there was a whole lot of people sitting around, twiddling their thumbs, waiting for somebody else to do it. Oh, they grabbed their rifles and they stood guard. Oh, I'm pretty sure they did. I've read stories where people in the Civil War, they were fighting in the trenches and they managed to get away and leave and abandon and go AWOL and leave and desert. You know what happened to them? Yeah, let's just put it this way. They were hanging from the highest tree in the area, I can tell you that much. That was treason. That was desertion. So don't tell me that we can't take care of this country, people. We built this country. Not the foreigners. Not the corporations. Not the big people that are in the suits on Wall Street. No way. You and I, our great-great-great-grandfathers and grandmothers tilled the ground. We built this country. And as far as I'm concerned, I won't see this country fail. Because I know that there are great people out there in the United States who are going to get a backbone, who have a backbone, who have the spirit of freedom and liberty and peace and security. They want that. And it's time that we go out in the streets and do what we have to do and make our voices heard. I don't care. Shut down streets. Shut down your main thoroughfares. I don't care. Take thousands of people out there if you can, hundreds if that's all you've got, and you shut down that downtown area, and you walk downtown and you stop the cars. I don't care what the police say. They're working for the federal government under the Department of Homeland Security. Don't even get me started on that one. The only way that you're ever going to see change is if you shut down what is happening now on smaller scales. When you start seeing Different cities in America shut down because the people are not going to allow the commerce to continue. And you take the money flow away from the bigwigs in the offices and those people in Washington, D.C., I guarantee you're going to see change. Or you're going to see a whole bunch of military in your streets. And that's when it gets serious. And that's when your backbone has to stiffen up. And you have to decide what you want to do at that point. I, for one, am going to stand for America. I, for one, am going to stand for the freedom and liberty in this country that we have so enjoyed for the last 238 years. Because this is my country, not anyone else's. I don't care who you are or what religion you are. You're a foreigner here. You didn't do the right thing to get here legally. You can pack your crap and leave the country now. I'm not calling for a coup. Let me make that perfectly clear right now. I am not calling for a coup. I am calling for the defense of the freedom and liberty that we have in this country. And I'm calling on all Americans who have the balls and the backbone to do it. And if you don't, pack it, jack it, and leave. Because you don't deserve to be called an American. George Washington went into battle and lost every single battle that he had, but he was a leader, and he persevered, and he kept his eyes on the goal, and he kept his eyes on the mark, and he saw it, and he said, this is what America truly is. I don't think he said that, I said that. So sorry for putting words in George Washington's mouth. Some of the British hierarchies asked George Washington if he wanted to be king. He said, no way. No. Now, a lot of people would say, well, you know, the Freemasons and all of this created the United States and all this, blah, 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 blah. I don't, set that aside for now. Let me break it down to something simpler, something more understandable. This is your home. This is your country. This is your neighborhood. This is your county, your city, your state that you live in. We have enemies, foreign and domestic. Your choices are clear. You have to make up your mind today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, not in 2016 when a new puppet is put into Washington, D.C. You have to make your choices today. Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard for me to say these words. It is hard for me to have to even think about the fact that there might be militarized law enforcement in the streets anytime soon. It's difficult for me to even think that maybe, just maybe, this is all a mental mind screw on everybody to cause them to behave in such a way to where the federal government, Washington, D.C., and the dictator-in-chief will slam down his hand on his desk in the Oval Office and suspend the Constitution of the United States and implement martial law. It is very possible that is going to happen. It's very hard for me, very, very difficult for me to even think that. Let me get real. Nobody wants to go to war. Nobody wants to even fight on their own turf. Nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't think you want to be at work and working in the warehouse or working at whatever fast food joint you work at as a part-time job or working in some major outlet somewhere. I don't think you would know what to do if all of a sudden in your local mall, all of a sudden you see military troops start walking through your mall and closing down all the shops. you don't know what to do at that point. When they say, everybody stay here, what are you going to do? Everybody stay put. You're not going anywhere. Things are happening outside. We're here to protect you. No, they're not. They're there to enslave you. How do I know? The greatest example of that is the Roman Empire. So go check your history and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That Roman government started out as a republic, much like the United States. We've taken a lot of those political ideologies out of the Roman Republic. But what happened? It became an empire because they considered, well, let's go out and take this swath of land. Let's go to this country and take that over. Why? Because that's what they wanted to do. Those countries did nothing to them. They just went out and took them, such as Egypt. They just went and decided one day, let's go take that country. That would be like the United States military-industrial complex looking at some major section of the United States because of the resources it has and say, we're taking that section over. Have a general look at you and come on TV and look at you and say, we're going to take over the region of the Northwest in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and because that's what we want to do. We believe that there's some things happening and we need to be aware, there and that wouldn't go over too well with you, would it? I think it's time we just take matters in our own hands. How about that? Defend the Constitution prior to 1871. How about that? How about manning up? How about getting a backbone and some balls and making sure that you defend your home, your country, your county, your city, your state? Why not? Why not? It's what your father left you. It's what your grandfather left you. It's what your great-grandfather left you, isn't it? Hey, women, I didn't forget you. I know there are some tough women out there. Why don't you help? Why don't you do what you have to do as well? Because without you, I really don't think us guys would have any need to be doing anything if it wasn't for the support and love of our wives and girlfriends and such like that. But I know some women out there that are better shots than I am. I know women out there that are much more fit than I am. Could I go through an obstacle course right now, military style? Probably not. You get older and the body begins to rebel. I'm just saying. Okay? So why don't we all get together and put down our differences and say, you know what? America is the country of, by, and for the people. And that's how it has to be. A free and sovereign people that want peace, freedom, security, and liberty. And let's take the example of history, where even though the odds were against us, we still came out victorious. There's over, I believe the actual numbers are close to 100 million people who are unemployed right now. I think that's enough to take care of what we have to take care of, don't you? I want to see it. I challenge each and every single one of you right now in your cities, in your states, your counties. I want to see it. I want to see hundreds of people. Let's put it this way. Let's start out small, shall we? Do you know 25 people? Do you know your softball team? Do you know your neighbors? Is there a group in your area that goes out on the overpasses or goes out and protests? Have you heard of them? I suggest you go out now. It might be 20 people, it might be 5, it might be 50, it might be 100, it might be 200. It doesn't matter. Go out and shut your city down today. I want to see it. I'll post it up on the website. I'll talk about it. If you've got video or audio, send that. I'll play it on my show later today. Or tomorrow. Or this week at some point. Contact me if you want me to know what's happening in your area. Contact me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I'm listened to from all over the world. And I know that in some places, people like you and I cannot get on the internet to get the news out. There are alternatives. I'm just saying. So if you people want this country, if you people want this country and want the peace, freedom, security, and liberty that you have so much desired and lived by and lived for and understand, then you folks better get a freaking backbone. And you better get out there and do what you have to do. Because your freedoms are slipping through your fingers. Your freedoms are slipping through your fingers, not because you're holding on to them too tight. It's because you're not holding on to them enough. So how's that? I went a little longer than I wanted to, but that's okay because it's important to understand that the peace, freedom, security, and liberty in this nation that we all want is the goal of every single American. And if that's not your goal, and if you want to take away the Second Amendment, and if you want to listen to MSNBC and all those jackasses over there, then you can pack your crap and leave this country because you don't deserve to be called an American. But we're in America. We have a right to say what we have to say. It's a First Amendment, blah, 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 blah. No, you don't. Think about this. I don't have a right to walk into a movie theater and say, fire! I don't. I don't have a right to walk up to you and to tell you to change religions or else I'm going to kill you. I don't have a right to look at you and say, you don't need to work at that job. You come over here and work for us. I don't have a right to do that. I don't have a right to go to your employer and tell your employer, hey, get rid of all of your health care packages and just sign on to this one. We'll help you out and have your rates go up 2, 3, 4 times. I don't have a right to do that, okay? And neither does this president. You know what that is, folks? That's a dictator. And if you don't understand it now, you got some serious problems. I live in Nevada. The biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. And I walk around this city and I'm seeing the dregs of society on the streets that probably are there because of some unfortunate incident in their life. I walk around this city and I see the people who are, let's just say, they would rather commit themselves to nefarious acts than live lawfully and peacefully with the rest of the people of this city. I walk around this city and I'm driving around and I tell you what, I see hope and I see dreams yet to be fulfilled. And guess what? What else? I see mothers pushing their children in the strollers. I see fathers who have this look of disdain on their face and almost a sheer sadness. I hear the voices of people who are feeling pressured that they can't get things done. That, well, I used to be able to afford these things. Now I can't because I got to pay that damn Obama. Oh, I hear stuff like that. There are things out there, there are people out there who absolutely need, like the retired folks who need their Social Security, who need their housing, who go to programs through the city to get, housing or anything of that, with, like housing authorities in your area. If you're low income, you can get, pay less rent or whatever. A third of your income goes to, whatever. So there are people out there that need that. And I'm okay with that because they need it. They're not let's put it this way, they're not entitled to it, but it is an entitlement program. They deserve it, but here's a little problem that I see. Many years ago, and I'll end on this, many years ago the churches took care of the elderly. Many years ago the churches helped the hospitals and created hospitals. Why do you think you have so many Catholic hospitals out there? Or names of saints. The churches, the neighborhoods, the communities took care of the elderly. Why? Because that was their duty. They were obligated to do so. Because that person was part of the community. That person was a pillar of their community. So when they got older and weren't able to get around, they helped out. Now, if anything, I see that people are a little more selfish than years ago. And the line that people use is the dumbest thing that I have ever heard. When it comes to helping other people out, I hear this a lot. What's in it for me? The satisfaction knowing that you helped someone out. I hear people say, well, I got to do this and I got to do that, and if I'm going to help somebody out, they're going to have to pay me. And you're a jackass. If I had the means at this point, if somebody needed help, I would. That's just me because mama didn't raise no fool. How'd your mama raise you? How'd your daddy raise you? With a backbone? Did he teach you responsibility? Did he say, do things out of the kindness of your heart and don't expect anything in return, because that's just the way it is? But no, people have grown to use that line all the time. What's in it for me? Nothing in it for you. Just knowing that you helped somebody out. Just another day. So if you're waiting for somebody else to come along and to get out in the streets and to get out in your neighborhood, and then you'll say, hey, that kind of looks cool, I guess I'll go follow them, and if I get tired, I'll just go off on something else. If that's your mindset, don't even get out of bed. don't even open your door. Don't just, if you hear a bunch of commotion outside and people protesting and you peek your little one eye out from behind the curtain and you see all these people protesting in your neighborhood, don't even get out and help. Just close your door, because it's just pointless for you to even do anything to help, because you're so damn selfish that you want something from it. Well, how about peace, freedom, security, and liberty in your country so you can continue to be as selfish as you can? And I say that for a reason. Because at some point there, Mr. or Mrs. Selfish, you're going to get knocked on your ass, and you're going to wonder why. And I'm pointing it out to you right now because you're a selfish moron, okay? You absolutely don't give a crap about anybody else. And that's why you got knocked on your ass. Don't like it? You don't like the way I talk? You know what? Pfft. So? Well, geez, if you keep talking down to people, nobody's going to be motivated. Really? I'm trying to build you up by saying what's going to happen. I'm trying to hopefully show you the pitfalls and the massive holes that you're going to walk into if you don't pay attention. And it's not going to be pretty for you. I'm showing you that the bridge is out. But you want to continue going? Okay, fine. You're going to wind up in the ravine. But, hey, you do what you need to do, because that's how selfish you truly are. But for those patriots that are out there that are standing up for this country, for your county, for your city, and helping out your neighbors, I applaud you for that. We need to get out in the streets and we need to protest. I'm serious. Send me pictures. If you know of groups or people or anybody, you go out into your city streets and you show me what you've done. And I'll plaster that all over my website. And I'll plaster that and tell people about that on my radio shows. And if you've got a website, please send that to me. If you want to put your pictures on your own website and send that link to me, you go ahead and do that. And I'll put it up there. True Americans making a difference. And I'll put it up on the website. For all my listeners who listen to my show, The Views Expressed Live. But I guarantee you right now, you're going to get a lot of flack. But that's okay. I'm sure that people in 1861 who got involved in the Civil War got a lot of flack too. So, you know. Just saying. So remember, this is your country. You make the difference. You get out and do what you have to do. You do what must be done to protect this country from enemies foreign and domestic. And for the others that just want to sit there and watch your stupid football games and your reality shows, well, hey, have fun with that. Tell me how that turns out for you when you got militarized law enforcement in your neighborhood cutting your cable. Go ahead. Tell me how that net neutrality is going to work out for you, that Obama is going to sign an executive order making it a public utility. Huh? Yeah, you just go ahead and tell me how that's going to work out for you. All right? I don't know. I know I'm mean. I know I'm harsh. But I hope that I said something that makes sense. So email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. And if you don't like it and think I need a new approach, let me know that too, please. Anything, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Come join me on the Views Express Live today at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right there on the Free American Radio Network on Spreaker. And also you can listen to it live on freeamericaradio.us. Talk to you later, folks. Send me that email, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Talk to you later. Have a great Monday.